Wainwright, a typical American college. It looks and sounds and feels the way a college should. Only one thing about Wainwright is extraordinary. Me. Permit me to tell you about me, and about the greatest day of my life. Well, I've already kept you over time, but why should the last day of the term be any exception? You've been very patient with me for 4 months. Thank you very much.
Hey, Dr. Brent?
Oh, yes, Hank?
We of Chemistry 2B would like to congratulate you on winning the Science Journal Award.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we just wish we could all be there at that banquet tomorrow. It's to make a little noise for you.
Well, I appreciate that, Hank.
You know the way you compare knowledge to good wine? The longer it ages, the better it is?
Well, I find that allusions to alcohol are almost always remembered.
Oh, here's some good wine, huh?
Thank you. All of you. I feel really that it should be I giving the gifts, because teaching is my great pleasure. I'm very grateful for every hour of attention you've devoted to me. Good luck to you all. Sorry I'm late. I couldn't help being a little late.
I wasn't going to say a word about it.
Weren't you? You should. By keeping you waiting out here 10 or 15 minutes.
20 minutes. You're later than usual today.
Well, I am sorry. Well, you're looking very pink-cheeked and bright-eyed today.
Am I? Well, I'm happy about tomorrow. A Wainwright faculty member winning the Science Journal Award. It's a terribly exciting thing. Important visitors from other schools. Newspaper reporters and photographers.
Will only be the greatest day in my life. No, the second greatest day.
What was the first?
Oh, that's still in the future, too. Need I tell you?
No.
I got a late start on great days in my life.
So did I.
Why do you still keep putting it off?
I don't know. Because I got such a late start, I'm still a little frightened, I guess. Oh, not of you, of myself.
It's odd. I'm not afraid of you.
I decided to be a spinster, you know. It was a realistic, practical decision that I made on my 30th birthday.
Well, I hoped I'd given you reason to change your mind.
Oh, you have. I don't know what I'd do if you were to go out of my life now. I'd be so terribly lonely. I never was before because I didn't know any better. Now.
Well, still you hold back.
It's such a big change for me, David. I need time.
There go the campus lovebirds.
Oh, you better be careful or I won't take you to that relief party tonight, and I know how much you want to go.
As a matter of fact, I do want to go. I've never been to a student party before. A real student party. They never invited the ghost.
Oh, the ghost. That was the only name I knew for the president's daughter and the head librarian for the longest time. But I found you to be very much of flesh and blood.
I found that, too.
What time shall I call for you?
Is 8 all right?
Oh, it's too far away.
7:30 then. And that's the best I can do.
Mrs. Tripp! Mrs. Tripp!
Your housekeeper's gone to the grocery. Out of baking soda, I believe.
Were you waiting to see me?
If you're the Professor David Brent who had an article published in the Science Journal last month,
I am.
then you are the one I want to see.
What can I do for you?
You can give me back what you stole from me. My name, my reputation.
I'm afraid I don't know quite what you're talking about.
Oh, come, mister. Whatever your name is. I'm Professor David Brent. Have been for the past 73 years. Now sit down. Stop beating around the bush.
You have some sort of credential, I suppose.
If you're determined to waste time, after 73 years, one collects quite a few things with one's name on it, you know.
Never mind.
Oh, that's better.
When did you find out about me?
I'll ask the questions. How did you think you'd get away with it?
I had nothing to lose, really.
Who were you before you became me?
Nobody.
Oh, come now. We've no time to be maudlin. I've got to decide what I'm going to do about you.
Well, my name was Hickey. Albert Hickey.
Poor fellow. Where did you teach?
We were both on the staff at Winston.
You were on the Winston faculty. I don't remember you.
Well, no, you wouldn't. I was a janitor.
A janitor?
In charge of the second and third floors of Creighton Hall. I told you I had nothing to lose.
So I see. Whatever possessed you to masquerade as a teacher, a biochemist?
It was an accident, really.
An accident?
Professor, how would you like a drink?
Oh, I'd like one very much. Unfortunately, it's forbidden. Doctor's orders.
I'm sorry.
Not so sorry as I am. Old age is a disaster.
Would you mind very much if I indulge?
Not at all. I will have a glass of water, if you'll be so kind.
So it's finally come. I've had to expect this moment, of course. I thought many times what I do. And through the years, my attitude has undergone a tremendous change. At first, I thought I'd run for it. Let you in the front door and go out the back.
Very shallow thinking, it seems to me.
You see, I'm not doing it. And then I went through a period when I thought I should defy you. Insist that I was indeed David Brent, and you were the imposter. But I gave that up, too.
What's your latest plan of procedure, may I ask?
Realism. I'll state my case and endeavor to convince you that I deserve to be Professor David Brent, and that you do wrong in attempting to interfere with a good and useful life.
You have a fat chance.
That's my best one, nevertheless. Now, you're a reasonable man, aren't you? You needn't answer that. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. You would have gone to the president of the college or some scientific organization. I trust you haven't done anything of that sort.
Oh, I must confess, I was too curious to bypass you.
Ah. Well, then, allow me to satisfy your curiosity.
You were a janitor at Winston?
Yes. And several months after you retired, I came across some old records and papers. Upon making inquiry, I learned that you'd gone off to the Orient, presumably to stay. So I decided to make use of my discovery. I decided to become Professor Brent.
You just decided.
Well, I'd always had a flair for science.
A janitor with a flair for science becomes a professor in a respected college.
Something more than a flair, actually, a talent.
Oh, now it's talent.
But I was first and foremost a student of science. I spent hours in the library every day, researching my favorite subject, biochemistry. It was my whole life. And then suddenly one day, like a gift from heaven, came this chance about which I'd always dreamed. A chance to become a professor. A chance to be recognized, listened to.
So you use my name and my credentials to apply for a position?
At a rather obscure college on the West Coast.
All colleges on the West Coast are rather obscure.
My application was accepted.
Naturally. I'm sure they were overjoyed to have you. Or me, rather.
And I got along very well there. I had some articles published. Then about a year ago, I was offered this post here at Wainwright. The thing snowballed.
Snowballed?
My formal education, Professor, ended with the 9th grade. But I'm a born teacher. If you could only hear me lecture, read some of my articles.
I read one. The one that brought me here.
Well?
It was interesting.
Interesting?
It was quite good. You know, you chose your field wisely. Biochemistry is a science with comparatively few rules.
Well, surely you're not going to belittle my accomplishments, Professor. The name is yours, but the work is mine, and the work is good.
It's fair.
Good. Here is my last article. Read it, and you tell me if you don't think it's good.
I didn't come here as a teacher to judge your work.
Well, I deserve the place I've made for myself in science. I've worked hard, I've made a contribution, and I deserve it.
No, sir, you do not. Science is a search for truth. Its keystone is integrity. The scientist scorns shortcuts and fakery. You're no scientist, you're a charlatan. Talented may be, but a fraud.
A fraud? Why? Because I have no degree? What difference do titles make? It's knowledge that counts, and I have the knowledge. More knowledge than many men who enjoy great privileges simply because the letters Ph.D. follow their names.
Young man, we cannot have anarchy in the world. That's what you're suggesting, intellectual anarchy. No, sir. We must have discipline. We must have requirements. We must have law.
But I've harmed no one. I've contributed.
I'm sure you have. I respect your contribution, just as I respect your extraordinary gall. I don't want to expose you. Indeed, I won't expose you if you'll handle this thing sensibly.
Oh, yes?
I want you to go to your president, resign your position here. I want Professor David Brent to disappear from academic life once and for all.
Why? Why should I?
Otherwise, I shall be forced to disgrace you publicly.
All right. Can't you wait till after tomorrow?
No.
There's a banquet being given me. The Science Journal makes an annual award. Biochemist of the Year. It's a very great honor.
I know that award. I was nominated twice, in 42 and again in 49. I'd have won it too if it hadn't been for politics.
You can imagine what it means to me. I want it more than anything else in the world.
I knew that award was dishonest. This proves it.
Can't you let me have tomorrow?
Certainly not. I've shown you more consideration than you deserve, allowing you a graceful exit.
All right.
Spanner, you've handled this matter very well, I must say. It does you great credit.
As I say, I've been expecting it. I've already stolen more happiness than I ever thought I'd have.
Are you beginning to beg? I'm disappointed in you.
Have you no heart?
I think I've demonstrated a great deal of good sense and good feeling.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions now?
What sort of questions?
What made you come back after all that time? I began to hope that you were gone for good.
Thought I died of some strange disease in the Orient?
One can always hope.
No such luck. If anything, Chinese cooking and herbs have prolonged my life.
Found your Shangri-La, have you? Well, doesn't your family worry? You wandering off to the four corners of the world like that at your age?
Haven't got any family.
Well, none at all.
Not a soul in the world. Come now, Mr. Hickey. Of all the plans you've ever contemplated, this one is the most ridiculous. You're not the sort of man to commit a murder.
Oh, of course not.
Well, now, do you think you can have that chat with your president now?
Yes, I suppose so. Dr. Miller lives just next door. And I'll try not to be long.
David, you're 2 hours early.
I'd like to see your father.
Oh, it'll be a few minutes. He's got someone with him.
I'll wait.
Something wrong, David?
No.
I don't believe you.
As a matter of fact, there is something wrong.
Would you like to tell me?
Oh, it doesn't concern you, Lorraine.
Everything about you concerns me, David.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. Actually, it does concern you. It concerns you very much.
Then tell me.
Well, Lorraine, what I mean is that a man isn't always what he seems. I mean, this is a very complicated world, full of mendacity, and it's difficult to be immune.
You're dodging.
Yes, I guess I am. Do you think your father will be long?
I don't know. Dean Clemson is with him. They're probably talking about the banquet.
Oh, yes, the banquet.
David, I've never seen you so nervous.
Yes, well, perhaps that's because I never have been so nervous. Lorraine, when you want something very much, and you think you deserve it, but still you can't seem to get it because one of the way things are...
Yes?
What should you do about it?
Could you be a little more specific?
Well, it's like us. Now, I want very much to marry you. Perhaps I don't have the right, but that doesn't stop me from still wanting to and trying to persuade you.
I've tried to explain my hesitation isn't because of you. I want to marry you.
But supposing things weren't what they seem. Supposing there weren't going to be any banquet tomorrow.
You don't have to prove yourself to me. I've been selfish. I know that. Terribly selfish. I'm ashamed of it. I cling to my old fears, my old confusions.
No, honestly, Lorraine.
David, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'll marry you whenever you want me to.
But I don't mean that. I'm just trying to offer an example. I'm trying to point... What did you say?
I'll marry you whenever you want. Tomorrow, even. Shall we make it your first and second greatest day all at once?
I've got to go.
What?
I've got to go right now.
I don't understand.
I'll be back later.
David! David!
Dr. Brent, I can't do it. I won't do it. I won't let you take tomorrow away from me. He's dead.
Who is it? Who is it, David?
David Brent. Police.
David, are you all right?
We just got a call from switchboard. The operator said... Say, aren't you Professor Brent?
Yes, I am.
Oh, she said Professor Brent was having a heart attack.
Yes, well, she was right. At least she wasn't wrong. But it wasn't I. No, it was him. I mean, he.
Oh, well, I brought the oxygen.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
Oh?
Who is he?
Yes, David.
Professor David Brent. My father.
Oh, David. What a terrible thing.
Yes. So sudden.
Come and sit down and try to relax for a minute.
If you don't mind, Lorraine, I think I'd like a bracer.
I don't think you've ever mentioned your father before.
Well, we didn't get along, really. Today was the first time I'd seen him in years. We argued again.
Poor David.
He was a nice old man, really, despite our differences.
I'm sure he was. Is there anyone we should notify?
No. No, I was all he had in the world.
Did he know about tomorrow?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course he did.
How sad that he won't be there to share your honor.
Yes, isn't he?
David, you mustn't feel guilty.
Well, why should I?
Because you argued with him.
No, I won't feel guilty.
Oh, good. I'm sure he wouldn't want you to. There may have been trouble between you, but you are his son and you'll be carrying on his name.
Lorraine, would you mind very much leaving me alone for a little while? I've got some thinking to do.
Nothing morbid.
Nothing morbid.
All right. Call me if you need me.
All right.
The truth shall make you free. We in science search for the truth because it has been promised us that the truth shall make you free. Sometimes our methods may seem roundabout, perhaps even devious, but there are no clear and lasting rules for finding truth. Who can say, this is the way? So just let me say that this is the greatest day of my life. I've long dreamed of receiving the kind of recognition you've given me. So instead of a long speech, let me just make an announcement, a sort of confession, really. This very happy occasion is a most appropriate time for revealing to you something that I simply cannot hold back any longer. I know you will be surprised, and perhaps even shocked, but you will more clearly understand my nervousness and my great happiness as I accept this award today when I tell you that Miss Lorraine Miller has consented to become my wife. So you see, I don't exaggerate when I say this is my greatest day. Thank you, all of you who have made it happen. I had everything. The honor, the glory, the girl. It was delicious. But wait, the story isn't over. I gave it all up. That's right. The very next day I told the truth about myself. Because, as you must surely know by now, I am indeed an extraordinary man.